TV News Express. Voting underway in Anambra governorship poll. In business, banks cash with the Central Bank of Nigeria rises to 4.8 trillion naira as liquidity surges. On the foreign scene, African Union rejects United States accusation of Christian persecution in Nigeria. And in sport, Super Eagles named 24-man squad for World Cup playoffs. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, Channel 365, and on StarTimes, Channel 276. And now, the news in details. Voting has commenced across Anambra State as residents head to the polls to elect their next governor, with materials and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) deployed early to polling units in all 21 local government areas. Major streets and markets were deserted as voters trooped out, while security agencies cordoned off key routes such as the Onitsha Bridge to ensure a peaceful exercise. Now 16 candidates are contesting the election, with over 2 million registered voters expected to decide the outcome. In the meantime, two major civil society bodies are raising strong concerns about voter apathy, low competitiveness among political parties, and persistent security risk across parts of Anambra State as the Anambra 2025 governorship election commences. This comes as the Center for Democracy and Development and the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room briefed the media in Awka on preparations and early warning signs. Aniete Patrick reports.
From Awka, the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD West Africa, says despite a 98.8% permanent voter card collection rate, Anambra still faces the real threat of low turnout at the polls. The organization says it has deployed over 178 observers across the 21 local government areas, and their early findings show worrying voter apathy made worse by weak voter mobilization from political parties and unresolved internal crisis within many of them. CDD also warned of persistent security concerns, especially in Ihiala, Nnewi South, Orumba South, and border communities like Lilu, Azia, and Amoka, areas where violence and weak oversight of vigilantes could depress voter participation.
One of the problems we have in this society, they are our politicians, that if we have them have a change of attitude, at least we'll be more than 70% up in our performance.
On the information front, CDD flagged widespread misinformation and hate speech. 7 major patterns were identified for manipulation of security narratives and religious divides to distorted campaign messages and gender-based attacks encouraging women's political participation.
While it is ordinarily happening to note INEC's report of a 98.8% PVC collection rate, there is still some concern that this will not translate into a high enough voter turnout.
To address this, the group has activated its Election Analysis Center to track and counter disinformation in real time. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Civil Society Room is also expressing concern about turnout, while acknowledging the calmer pre-election environment compared to previous cycles. The group says Anambra still ranks among states with the lowest voter participation. The Situation Room has deployed field observers and says it will closely monitor ballot integrity, campaign finance, misinformation, security deployment, and inclusivity, especially for persons with disabilities. Both organizations say confidence in the new INEC leadership will deepen heavily on early deployment of election materials, proper management of beavers, timely result transmission, and transparent collation. Security deployment is massive. 45,000 police personnel, numbers civil society groups say reflect wider weaknesses in Nigeria's democratic process, even as they call for professionalism and non-intimidation of voters. With over 2.8 million registered voters and 5,718 polling units, civil society is urging Ndi Anambra to come out and vote, and for political actors to put democratic integrity first. Both the CDD and the Situation Room say tomorrow's governorship election will be a critical test for the state and for Nigeria's electoral system. From Awka, Anambra State, Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Following the dissolution of the Adolphus Wabara-led Board of the Trustees of the PDP by a faction loyal to the party's national acting chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has inaugurated a new Board of Trustees to restore confidence, integrity, and unity within the party. The event held at the Federal Capital Territory Administration official residence in Abuja brought together party elders, stakeholders, and political allies as the leadership pledged to begin what it described as a new era of renewal and justice. For details, here is Kabir Hassan's report.
It was an emergency meeting of the People's Democratic Party National Working Committee, a gathering that marked what members described as a turning point in the party's history. The acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed, said the new Board of Trustees symbolizes the rebirth of the party, reaffirming its founding principles of justice, fairness, inclusivity, and respect to the rule of law. Abdurrahman noted that the previous board had lost moral balance and credibility, which necessitated the restructuring to restore order and unity within the party.
Today marks another significant turning point in the life of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. We have come together not merely to inaugurate a new Board of Trustees, but to renew our faith in the ideals that give birth to this great political family. For justice, fairness, inclusivity, and respect for the rule of law.
The newly inaugurated Board of Trustees is chaired by Senator Mao Onahabunwa, with Isa Dansidi serving as secretary. Both leaders pledges to uphold unity, fairness, and discipline while working closely with the National Working Committee to strengthen internal democracy and restore public trust in the PDP.
And I believe that if we continue in this way, in keeping with our constitution, tenets, abiding by our rules and regulations, our party will definitely be the party that it is known for.
With the theme beginning of new era, the new leadership assured members of its readiness to reform the party structure, promote accountability, and ensure respect for the rule of law. The PDP leadership expressed optimism that the renewed focus on fairness and inclusivity will help reposition the party as a credible alternative in Nigeria democratic space. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
Let's now move away from politics and tell you that the Federal Fire Service has announced plans to strengthen its partnership with the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to enhance fire safety in Nigerian universities. This came to the fore when officials of the Fire Service, led by Controller General, paid a courtesy visit to the TED Fund office in Abuja. Global Television's correspondent Ramzi Enoch Agbo has the details.
Speaking during the visit, Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Samuel Adeyemi, highlighted the need for improved fire prevention measures in universities and colleges. He proposed closer collaboration between both agencies in the installation of firearms, smoke detectors, and extinguishers in all buildings funded by TED Fund, as well as regular safety inspections and fire education for students.
Federal Fire Service, we are here today to strengthen the existing relationship that we have with State Fund. The more 2024, about 3 federal universities hostels was gutted by fire. The investment Test Fund is doing is large. Then me, myself, and the management, we sat down that we need to collaborate with TED Fund.
The TED Fund's Executive Secretary, Aksoni Echono, commended the initiative, describing fire safety as essential and pledging to ensure that all tertiary institutions under the fund's project incorporate fire prevention facilities. including mini fire stations where possible.
Fire protection is so essential. Bringing the classification of the buildings, ensuring that you have fire protection devices, the water hydrant, fire hydrants, the sprinkler systems for the bigger buildings, smoke detectors, and all the other facilities that have become so integral. In many countries, it's a prerequisite. So you cannot reuse any building unless you have those in place. But more importantly, you also need to educate the people. Educating people on the cautiousness and what to do in the event of fire. It's something that should not only be limited to us and our premises, but to all our beneficiary institutions.
The collaboration is expected to go a long way to prevent fire outbreak in and around state fund facilities and save the lives of both staff and students as well as properties of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
And now to Benue State, where the government is urging owners of demolished properties along the ongoing Makurdi 9th Mile Road project to present valid building approvals from the State Urban Development Board and Town Planning Department. The government says this will enable the affected persons to benefit from the ongoing compensation exercise. Global Television correspondent Felicity Inderi has details.
The Benue State government has begun clearing structures to pave way for the dualization of Federal Road from Wurukum in Makurdi to 9th Mile in Enugu State, a project covering over 500 kilometers. Following the demolition, residents and property owners, including the newly commissioned Tinubu Campaign Organization and the African Democratic Congress, ADC, have expressed concern over the exercise. Responding to the complaints, Director of Civil Engineering and Desk Officer for Compensation, Engineer Solomon Wombo, appealed to affected persons with valid documents and approved building plans from the State Urban Development Board to present them for compensation.
Let me cite an example. We have destroyed Ashafa filling station. Why is he not complaining? We have destroyed Zenith Bank. Why is he not complaining? We have destroyed the Atorutio, estate. He is not complaining. We have destroyed Ecobank. He is not complaining. We are going to destroy Kabis now. Kabis will not complain. They have presented valid document of a development approval.
For the issue of demolition at that APC premises and ADC. ADC for sure, all of them know they have developed outside the property line. All those developments that were removed were right on the right of way.
Some property owners say they were already informed about the road expansion and support the government's efforts.
Our fence has been affected by this demolition, but as painful as it is, we were actually marked for this demolition and we were aware.
Others, particularly in the Kanshio area, claim that the demolition came without adequate notice.
We then come to mark the house, then tell us, say then go pay us. My children go there, go right. 1 naira they no pay. Or even yesterday when they come to destroy something there, we come, then I go there, I go meet them. I say, I go come this side. They say, no, I leave all my load. Now so they scatter them.
As the dualization of the Makurdi Otukpo 9th Mile Enugu Road continues, the government maintains that only the resident with valid document will be duly compensated. In Makurdi, Felicity Indere reporting for Global Television News.
Now, in many parts of the world, a girl child's right to learn is still seen as optional rather than essential. Yet, when you educate a girl, you transform her future and the society around her. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, takes a look at the issues that affect not just families, but entire nations' education of the girl child, and her report.
Across the globe, more than 120 million girls are out of school. Poverty, early marriage, and cultural norms and poor infrastructure remain major barriers to their education. Behind each statistic is a name, a story, and a future waiting to be unlocked. According to reports from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, Every additional year a girl spends in school can raise her future earnings by up to 20%.
Of course, if you educate a single girl, it's like you have educated the entire society. And being a strong advocate of SDG 3 and SDG 4, I must tell you that we are missing we have already missed the way in Nigeria and especially in Arewa.
For the whole entire populace, education is very essential. Particularly as you regarded to our female you are asking about now. Yeah. You know, if you train your daughter or a female child very well, you will enjoy it at later date. One, they are mothers, they take care of the children, they take care of the husband, the parents, and we can't do without a female child in society. Without female child, the system is not complete.
Girl child, I think there's this power every woman possesses that men cannot deny. And so many men are coming to realize it right now that it's very, very important to train their girl child.
In countries where girls complete secondary school, child mortality rates drop sharply. Educated women are also more likely to send their children to school, breaking cycles of poverty that have lasted generations.
When we educate girls, we empower future mothers, leaders, and entrepreneurs. The ripple effect goes far beyond the classroom. Initiatives like scholarship, safe transport, and mentorship programs are making education more accessible. Because when you educate a girl child, you don't just change her life, you change the world. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, African Union rejects United States accusation of Christian persecution in Nigeria. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, this is the live broadcast of News Express on Global Television. And now to business news, where the Central Bank of Nigeria says the ongoing recapitalization of commercial banks is essential to achieving the federal government's ambition of building a 1 trillion naira economy by 2030. Deputy Governor for Financial System Stability, Philip Ikeazu, said the goal is to create stronger, well-governed, and inclusive bank capable of driving growth and withstanding global economic shocks. He added that the reforms are meant to build a resilient financial system that supports innovation, development, and long-term stability. In the meantime, fresh data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that commercial banks deposited 4.8 trillion naira in the Apex Bank standing deposit facility as of November 7, reflecting one of the strongest liquidity surpluses this quarter. The figures indicate that many banks prefer risk-free overnight parking at the CBN, which offers a 24.8% interest rate rather than lending to the real sector. Analysts say while the liquidity appears high on paper, smaller banks still face tight funding conditions as larger lenders dominate excess reserves. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. The African Union Commission has rejected the United States' claims that the Nigerian government is complicit in the targeted killing of Christians, calling the allegation unfounded and contrary to Nigeria's constitutional guarantees of religious freedom. In a statement from its headquarters in Addis Ababa, the African Union reaffirmed its commitment to sovereignty, non-interference, and the rule of law as core principles of the Union. The Commission described Nigeria as a valued member playing a key role in regional stability, counter-terrorism, and continental integration. Now, fears of fracturing global resolve loomed over climate talks in the Brazilian Amazon as the world leaders acknowledged their failure to contain global warming to agreed limits. Heads of state and government met in the city of Belém ahead of the United Nations COP30 conference, which is set to take place without the United States, one of the nations most responsible for planet warming emission. Zara Unasir completes the report.
Opening the leaders' gathering, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres set the tone by declaring that the world has failed in its promise to hold long-term warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius since the pre-industrial era.
Every fraction of a degree means more hunger, displacement, and loss, especially for those least responsible. This is moral failure and deadly negligence. Yes, the new Excellencies, the United Nations will not give up on the 1.5 degrees goal. Because another truth is evident. We have never been better equipped to fight back. A clean energy revolution has taken hold.
Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Browne, railed against what she called the large polluters who continue to deliberately destroy the world's marine and terrestrial environments with poisonous fossil fuel gases.
I'm not going to speak on the issue of the loss and damage fund because all of us should hold our heads down in shame, because having established this fund a few years ago in Sharm el-Sheikh, its capital base is still under $800 million, while Jamaica reels from damage in excess of $7 billion US, not to mention Cuba, Haiti, or the Bahamas.
Brazil hopes COP30, which officially begins on Monday, can reaffirm that climate change remains a global priority despite wars, trade tensions, economic uncertainty, and the chilling effect of the Trump administration. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
And now to the exciting world of sport, where the Nigerian Football Federation has released a 24-man squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup Africa playoffs in Morocco, with goalkeeper Maduka Okoye and winger Chidebere Izuki making notable returns. The Super Eagles will face Gabon in the semi-finals on November 13 in Rabat, with the winner to meet either Cameroon or DR Congo for a place in the Inter-Conference playoffs. Forwards Victor Osimhen headlines the attack, joined by Lukman Chukwueze, Simon, and Aro Kadari, as Nigeria seeks to return to the World Cup after missing out in 2022. Still talking sports, Nigeria's Falconets will begin their 2025 WAFU Under-20 Girls Cup campaign today against defending champions Ghana in Cotonou, Benin Republic. The tournament, reduced to 3 nations, Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic, will now adopt a round-robin format where the team earning the most points emerging champions. Coach Moses Aduku says the team is ready to reclaim regional glory and use the competition as preparation for the next year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers. Now, as Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. Earlier in the news, we told you that voting has commenced across Anambra State as residents head to the polls to elect their next governor, with materials and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) deployed early to polling units in all 21 local government areas. In business, fresh data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that commercial banks deposited 4.8 trillion naira in the Apex Bank's standing deposit facility as of November 7, reflecting one of the strongest liquidity surpluses this quarter. On the foreign scene, the African Union Commission has rejected United States claims that the Nigerian government is complicit in the targeted killings of Christians, calling the allegation unfounded and contrary to Nigeria's constitutional guarantee of religious freedom. In sport, the Nigerian Football Federation has released a 25-man squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup Africa playoffs in Morocco. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.